Just say some random shit right now for the sound check.
What's up, guys? Welcome to the YouTube channel.
So, what have you been up to?
Not much, man. I just got back from Michigan. Pretty much just lift, work, sleep. That's about it.
What are your plans after high school?
I'm going to IU, hopefully to pursue a major in cybersecurity, but we'll see how that turns out.
Do you have any plans for the summer?
Nothing crazy, just work, make money, go on vacation. I think we're going to like Wisconsin Dells or something next week.
Are you excited about leaving high school?
While I was in high school, I was super excited about it because it just kind of sucked. But looking back, I feel like it could have been a lot more fun if I didn't just stick to myself and get my work done.
Yeah. Is there anything else you want to say like about yourself or let people know?
No.
Alright. How'd you meet him?
It was in middle school. There was a song going around that his name was in, and I couldn't fathom that somebody had that name. I don't remember who told me about it, but we went to a track meet and they're like, "Oh, that's him, that's him." And then we all went up and started doing the dance in front of him. And he was like, "Wow." Like he just did not care. And then I raced him in the mile, and I think he beat me. But it was an interesting time meeting him.
Do you remember what grade that was?
I think it was eighth grade actually.
So you known him about 4, 5 years?
Yeah.
Besides like your first interaction, did you have like another distinct time you felt like you met him?
No, that was the first time I ever met him, and I like heard about him and how good he was at running like probably like a week before that.
How close would you consider yourself to him?
Eighth grade we weren't really close at all. We were just like acquaintances, competitors. But then freshman and sophomore year when we were running, it was like I really worked out with him a lot, ran together a lot. There was constant, who's gonna be better in this race, who's gonna be faster. And he was always working, trying to outwork me. And then when Joel Bryant came in, there was a big feud there, but it was all in good fun.
Would you say like there was ever a period of time like in your guys' relationship where you were closer than usual or not as close?
We never really like argued over anything, but freshman and sophomore year when he was running cross country, that's when I knew him the best. We hung out a good amount during then. Then junior and senior year, I really didn't see him much. Neither of us like made an effort to hang out or anything, but we were still like, it wasn't like we were on bad terms. We just kind of grew apart a little bit.
Yeah. Do you have like a favorite memory with him?
Yeah, there was one time during cross country practice in the summer. We were at VU, and like me and a few other guys went to do a Pokemon Go raid, and when we drove back, because like our coach wasn't there, so we went and did the raid and came back, and then he was just like sitting there like apart from everybody else, like doing some foam rolling or something. And we pulled in and then we got out of the car and he just made the weirdest noise. He was like, "Wow." And everybody was laughing. It was a good time.
How did he feel about like you guys playing Pokemon Go?
He hated it. He was so mad because he was so like determined to be the best he could be. And we just kind of like messed around. It wasn't that serious for us, but I think eventually he started playing it too, and that was funny.
Did he teach you anything important or significant?
I feel like he at least around me, it didn't seem like he cared what anybody thought of him or of anything else. And I never really like took that to heart. It was just something I kind of noticed, and looking back, it's like I really should have thought the same way throughout 8th grade to now, I guess, still. But yeah.
So he was content with being himself.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you think you had left anything important or significant with him?
I like to think I did. I don't. If I had to guess, it'd be something related to running and hard work, because he was always trying to implement something dumb like a core workout after a 10-mile run, and I'd do it with him, but I just felt it was completely unimportant.
What stood out to you the most about him?
At first, he was just short, but it seemed that his mental state was a lot stronger than mine. That's just how I always saw it.
When was the last time you saw him?
Oh, I don't know when the last time I saw him. The last time I was like with him for a good amount of time was, I think it was his last day at Dairy Queen. I don't know, it's kind of surreal looking back on it. He was talking about his grades and how they were like not great, and then he showed me them and they were like bad, and I was just like, dude, like, what are you doing? Why not apply yourself? He's like, he just made some weird grunt, and that kind of struck me as odd because he'd always been like smart. He was always in like AP classes or whatever, and seeing that was just not what I expected, but I didn't really do anything about it. I just kind of talked to him and told him he should work harder than that.
Yeah. Aside from bringing up like his grades, how was he?
He seemed fine. There was never any point that I was with him that I was like, oh, is he okay? We were just there together. There was nothing that stood out.
So if I asked like if anything seemed different, you would say no.
Well, if you ask that in that way, I probably would I like to think I would compile everything and try and figure it out, but yeah, I don't know.
Are you glad like you had that last shift with him?
I think so. I think it was a good memory. He's always in the grill just messing around, throwing ice in the fryers. I don't know.
When did you find out about his passing?
It was the morning after. My dad texted me and said like, hey, I heard about it, and I'm so sorry, here if you need to talk. And I was like, what are you talking about? And then I looked on Snap and there's like people posting pictures of him on their story, and that's when I like texted somebody. I don't remember who I texted, but then they told me.
Were you shocked at all?
I didn't really believe it at first. I was like, there's no way that somebody I knew that happened to them. Throughout my life, I've never really had any mental problems, so it's hard for me to understand like how they were or how he was feeling. But I think since then, it's been a lot easier for me, and not just me, like a lot of people, to reach out and say like, oh, are you all right?
Do you feel like the climate for like discussing mental health changed after he died?
Personally, yeah. For me, it definitely did. I'm a lot more open to it. And I think throughout our school too, it's nice to see people talking about it. You know, even if it's in like a pointless post on your story sense, it's still nice to see that people understand that. And I think the guidance counselors do a pretty good job. And then to see at the senior what was that? Where they like gave out the awards. Yeah, it was nice to see a memory of him up there.
And then I know you said after like you got the news, it was a little like unreal. Do you ever think like you had a time where like the reality had set in?
Yeah, at his funeral. From the time I found out till the funeral, I was just kind of like in shock. I never really cried or anything. It was just like, oh, this happened. And then once we got to the funeral and we saw him in the casket, it was like, man, this is real. And then
Yeah.
tears started flowing.
Did you see the funeral's like closure?
Yeah, yeah. I think seeing everybody that I knew and he knew there was helpful. It was nice to see people that I hadn't seen in forever attend, because it just made you feel that much safer, and I don't know, it just really helps to have people you trust there.
Yeah. And then I know you said the last time you'd seen him, like to you at the time, nothing seemed out of the ordinary. But looking back on everything now, do you think there were any warning signs that he may have been suicidal?
Pretty much just that last shift when he was talking about how his grades were plummeting. That was his last day too. I mean, you don't just quit. He said he wanted to focus on school and MMA, and I know he was doing good in MMA. He was working hard, and then the grades, that's the only thing that's like didn't make sense, because he'd always had, good grades, A's, B's, maybe a C. It's never something to worry about.
Yeah. Did he apply himself at all when it came to school, or was he just naturally smart?
I think he was pretty naturally smart. He was pretty smart in that sense. But if he had really applied himself, I think he could have done things that he didn't know he was capable of.
Yeah. These next questions, you can answer them as vague or as in depth as you want. I know you said that you hadn't really ever had any mental health struggles or anything like that. But would you say you've ever struggled with your mental health?
If I have, it's been subconscious, and it's never been something that's so big and deep that it's like put me somewhere I don't want to be. It's just like the way I see things is like, oh, this is what's happening. You just deal with it.
Yeah. So you'd say pretty minor.
Yeah, definitely minor.
And then have you ever received like treatment or care for that? Then did his passing have any impact on your mental health?
Not in a negative sense. It almost made me more, like gave me more clarity, and really made me more thankful for all the friends that I've made and people that have been there for me whenever I needed anything.
Yeah, so it was like bittersweet in a
Yeah.
way. Did you guys ever bond over music?
Not really. When I first started like really hanging out with him, we'd go to the Y and like just like exercise, do biking, and he was always listening to like rock music, and I was into like just rap, like popular rap at the time. He was like, oh, so stupid.
So did he show you any kind of music?
He kind of got me into Green Day a little bit. He showed me a playlist like way back freshman year, I think. And I think I still have it saved to this day, but I listened to that for a good amount of time before my tastes shifted, I think.
And that was a lot of like Green Day?
Yeah, songs like that, different artists.
Do you think you put him onto any kind of music?
No. He had a mind of his own. He liked what he liked,
Yeah.
and that was that.
What do you think his like favorite band or artist was?
Based on his playlists and like followed artists at the time of his passing. I know Kanye was up there. That's all I know for sure that he was into.
Yeah. Do you have like a song in particular that makes you think of him?
There's no song in particular, but if I were to put on his playlist, I feel like that gives me like a connection to him, what he was going through, but I can't really bring myself to listen to that playlist anymore.
Yeah. Did you ever like listen to it after he died, or?
Yeah, when Julian sent it to whatever group chat it was, I listened to most of it, pretty much just looking at the song titles. That was the most emotional part for me.
Yeah. Just too much now, you'd say?
Yeah, I'd cry if I put it on.
What do you think music means to him?
I almost feel like it was a drug for him. It seems like it gave him an escape from whatever he was going through, a way to convey things that he was feeling without having to say it. And looking back on that, I think we all understand that now.
And then did he ever talk to you about fighting in like MMA?
Not really. There was one time where we were at a track meet in Lake Central, I think it was, wherever it's closest to his MMA gym, and he ran over there from his MMA gym to watch the meet. He like jumped a fence and just came out of nowhere, and we were like, "Dude, what?" And then he told us he had just been fighting. But that's pretty vague about what he talked about. It was just kind of the memory of seeing him come from his gym to watch us.
What did you think about his like career goal of being a professional fighter?
I was skeptical. You know, it's not. I mean, fighting's not easy, but I feel like if he were still here and he could keep pursuing everything that he wanted to, he could go somewhere with it.
Yeah. We're at the point for the final question. Do you want to say anything or talk about anything you don't feel like we've discussed so far?
I don't think so.
Alright. You ready for the final question? Okay, if you could say one thing to him right now, what would it be?
I don't know, that's a tough one. I don't think it's something I'd say. It's more of something that I wish we could all do, you know, just get together with him one last time, just see him, you know, whatever he wants to do. I think that would be I think if that was possible, that'd be great for everybody, but it would also just create a false sense of, you know, that he's still here. But that's like a dream that I would have. Just everybody he knows and he wants to be with him just one last time.
Is that it? You want to wrap it up?
I think that's it, yeah.
Alright.